Good morning on this Wednesday, July 19th. Chris Allen on the SAM channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Rumbles of Thunder. As I start the podcast this morning, you can see on the radars behind me here that we've got a lot of rain that is coming down this morning, so much so that there are numerous flood warnings going on here as of 5 a.m. on this Wednesday morning, just back to the west, and one flood emergency that has happened back toward western Kentucky, Ballard County, in that area. Um, there are some places where there have been some water rescues going on just this morning from flooded homes and from flooded streets back closer to the far southwestern corner of Kentucky. And you can see why, because this never ending train of rain just continues to push through. Now, everything that's falling here in the Bowling Green area, we're hearing distant rumbles of thunder and some light to moderate rain, but the heavier stuff is back to the west and northwest of us. Just west of Mayfield is where you've got that flood emergency going on, and it's going to be a while. I'll show you some incredible rainfall totals just within the last 24 hours in that part of Kentucky. For us, we're getting some of these rumbles of thunder and nothing severe going on this morning. But the thing about all of this that we're watching, it's all moving a little more east, even though embedded in this big area of rain, we've got storms that are moving southeast. The entire system is moving now a little more east. So some of this heavier rain that we're seeing back here west of us looks to move in as we go through the morning. And we're going to continue to see rounds and rounds of rain, some of it very heavy today as we go through the day. So there is a flood watch in effect through 10 a.m. That could be extended depending on how many more of these systems come in over the next 24 hours. And we could have several more of these coming through in the next day or so before this all of this starts to tame down just a bit. Here's a look at rainfall totals, Kentucky Mesonet Network over the last 24 hours. Not much here, but look at this. It's very rare on this scale to see that kind of rainfall. I think the last time I saw that much rainfall in one spot would have to be maybe May 3rd of 2010. When we had the 8 to 10 inches of rain, remember that, and the flooding that went all the way down to Nashville and covered the interstates and things look at that. 7.5 inches of rain over the last 24 hours in Graves County, Graves and Ballard counties, far western Kentucky. That is where the worst of the rains have been. And that's where the flood emergency is going on this morning with water rescues, closed roads. It is just, it's bad over that way, pretty bad. You can see surrounding it, even though there's not a lot of other mesonet stations around it, you can see that the estimates here are well over 5 to 7 inches of rain. Some locations have been approaching 8 inches of rain in that one area. So it's a rough go this morning in that part of the state. Let's check the temperatures, and with the muggy air and the rains passing through, you can see that we've got 60s, upper 60s to low 70s all across southern Kentucky this morning. I would advise you, if you do need to go into western Kentucky, even Paducah, you're going to find some blocked roadways. There was some wind damage from the storms that came through yesterday. There's some power outages and, of course, street flooding and even flooded homes. The further west you get into near the Paducah area and outside of the Paducah area in Mayfield and those locations, it's just nasty. All right, here's a look at the 10-day blender. And we're going to go mid 80s today with the humid air, the very soupy air that surrounds us. We'll stay in the mid to upper 80s tomorrow and then cool it off a bit once a cold front comes through Friday night. By Saturday and the weekend actually looks really nice. With some sunshine and lower humidity levels, we'll drop into the low 80s for a day or so and then hop back into the upper 80s to low 90s for the end of next week, which will close out the month of July. And then we'll move on into August. But temperatures are not going to be an issue, I don't think, anytime soon. Either too cool, too warm. It's just going to be pretty typical. The average high is 90. We hit 92 yesterday, by the way, officially at the airport. So that's 2 degrees warmer than average. Uh, and it looks like we're going to hang close to that average or just a bit below that once we head into the weekend. The thing we've got to watch are these impulses that just continue to ride into the area, and each one has the capability of producing that very heavy rainfall. At any place, anytime, keep that in mind, any place, anytime, these systems are going to come in and they're going to roll in with, packing a lot of wind in some cases, like we saw yesterday, and then they're going to pack a lot of wet weather and the possibility of some flooding. So always keep that in mind for the next few days. Here's the complex rolling in this morning with a very heavy rainfall. It's going to continue to kind of brush southern Kentucky. We won't be in the worst of it right at this moment, but if it starts to move a little further east, like I was showing you, then we could see some heavier rain before this complex dies off just a bit and moves off to the south into Tennessee. But we're not done. There will be a period today when I think the sun may come back out, energize the atmosphere, which is already humid, and we could find new thunderstorms popping up into the afternoon and evening hours. And that's what we're seeing right there. Now, as we get into tonight, overnight tonight, it's almost, I mean, it is very close to a replay of what's happening this morning, what's happening right now. Overnight, these storms get regenerated. The flow here, as you can see, goes a little more east. So that means we're more in the target zone for the heavier rain overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. And so we may have to extend the flood watch over the area because this looks to enhance. Look at this as we go into Thursday morning. Boom, right there. About drive time tomorrow morning. And through the midday, impulse after impulse, they join together and they just rain and rain and rain. And we could get some very heavy rain out of this before it moves further east on your Thursday. We get some leftover showers into Thursday night and into early Friday before this system moves on. The good news is this is a front and it's going to pass on through. This we're not going to have to worry about. This is going to go into Oklahoma and Texas and reside there and not bother us. But once we get that cold front in here Friday night, that's going to establish some cooler, drier, and less humid air as we get into Saturday and the weekend. And that's very good news for all of us. And we get these impulses that just finally back off just a bit. How much rainfall, additional rainfall? Well, in addition to the 7+ inches that's happening in Western Kentucky, they still could pick up another 2 or 3 inches of rain today. That's new rainfall on top of what's occurring or has occurred over the last 24 hours. For us, maybe on the order of an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter in some locations with heavier downpours. That's certainly possible. And then you'll have that new system coming in overnight tonight and early tomorrow, and that could add to that. Yeah, I know. It's like, okay, I think we've about had enough of rain, but we still have a little ways to go. Let me show you the surface map over the next 24 hours. We'll get that. There we go. Want to make sure I hit the right button. By the way, we're only 2.6 inches below year-to-date rainfall. So, like I've been saying, we're pretty well caught up on rainfall, and we're pacing about where we should be this time of the year. But this additional rainfall could cause some additional flooding problems, especially back into western Kentucky. So that's something that's got to be watched, of course. Here's the stalling of the systems. We talked about this yesterday morning. Everything just kind of just sitting here. These boundaries, some of these left over from yesterday's sporadic severe thunderstorms, putting out more rain and thunderstorms today. There you see everything lining up. Look at that, one low pressure system after another riding along that track, that boundary that won't pass through here until Friday night. So as long as these ripples of low pressure ride along that track, we're going to continue to see the showers and occasional thunderstorms and occasional heavy rain and gusty winds. Here we are into tonight and into Thursday. Part of that front retreats to the north, but then we have you can't get rid of the waves of low pressure. They're still there, kind of split off from the flow, but everything will start to kind of come together as we get into Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, into Friday. And here it comes. Here comes the main cold front with more showers and thunderstorms as we get into Friday. Finally, by Friday afternoon and evening, the front pushes far enough south to take the showers with it, and we get that cooler, drier air that starts to filter in from the north. And just in time for the weekend, high pressure ridge builds in and gives us a pretty nice weekend. I mean, Saturday and Sunday both look good with sunshine, lower humidity levels, and temperatures even down into the lower 80s. Here we go into Sunday, Monday, and then into Tuesday. Here comes another system to the north, which looks to maybe bring us something once we get into, say, Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So there we go. Just be careful. There's going to be some places that you'll find on your way into work this morning that have been maybe washed out, or little creek or stream or something like that, a ditch overflows and pushes that water into your roadway. Just slow it down, take it easy. Interstates, don't go the speed limit. Slow it down by 10 or 15 miles per hour so you don't hydroplane. That is the number one cause of accidents on interstates, hydroplaning. It's where you look at the roadway and it's wet, but you don't know that there's a ponding of water or standing water that's collected in a divot, or just where the pavement or the concrete has settled just a little bit, and it causes these areas to pile up with rain. And then when your car hits it, uh, you assume the traction on your tires is good enough to keep you steady as you're steering, but sometimes that water can get under there and lift your car enough to cause it to so you lose control. And then if you're going 70, 75 miles per hour, you're gonna have an accident. So just slow it down out there this morning, and as long as the rain is still around. All right, I'm headed to the radio station, Sam 100.7, for the morning show, 6 to 10. I hope you'll join me for that. In the meantime, have a safe day. Thanks for watching as always. God bless you, and I'll see you on the radio.